Greetings, guys. Dennis here. This is a area under the curve for binary classifications. These are numbers. These numbers are generated randomly. I used random function in Google Spreadsheets, and so is this score. I sorted the score and I sorted the randoms, all for demonstration purposes. And then I graphed the false positive. Now, what I should have done is figure out a way to make sure that when you roll over, you'll see what the score is. But it's not nearly as important as necessarily showing you that this is the rate of the false positives. Again, these are random numbers, so it's not meaningful data. But the idea would be, for example, if you were you are given a score of 0 to 100, for example, and you didn't know necessarily if it was a false positive or a true positive. And what you would do as you got more information, you would identify the true positives. So, for example, or the likelihood of a true positive. And this will tell you whether or not you should act. For example, if you have a score of a 65 as a 0.65 as a false positive and a true positive of 0.65 or above, in this case a score of 78, that would give you an idea as to at what point you should react to the signal. And it also gives you a really good idea as to whether or not the cost of acting, or whether you should act because each action has a cost, whether it's time, resources, etc. And then on this side, you can see I created a histogram of false positives. So everything underneath this is a false positive. And you can see that the true positives in this, at least in this case, are slightly larger percentage-wise. Now, how do you calculate the area under the curve? What we do is take a look at this formula. We take C2 plus C3 divided by 2 and then times D3 right here, D3 minus D2. So I got this from a video on YouTube. I'll have to share that link so that you can see the calculation itself. But this gives us, you take all of these areas under the curves, and then you sum them up. And obviously we don't want to add this one, because if you look at the way it's calculating, it's actually referencing D20, which doesn't exist, so this number is not accurate. So I summed just E2 to E18, and that gives us an area under the curve of essentially 44%. So that is a quick demonstration of area under the curve using Google Spreadsheets. I hope it's useful for you, and thank you for computing. Thank you, and happy computing.